Hey guys, this is Dave here with Full Armor Gaming, and we have another video for you again today. This one is going to be a little bit more interesting because it's going to be directed to players towards helping your DM. So this video today is going to be about how can we help, as a player, take the weight off of the shoulders of the DM. And so I brought along my beautiful bride, Christy, again, here to help us. And so we're gonna get into this and find out some ways as a player that kind of has the ability to see kind of behind the veil. She gets to see the weight that DMing has and things that she's seen over the years that will then help take some weight off of your DM and make it easier for him.
So when you come home after a session and you're crying,
yeah,
and just so sad.
We're not doing this. This is
about how.
I'm gonna cut all this out.
No, it's okay. You don't have to.
I mean, you can do all this. Just let me get back to getting into the next thing.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I've interrupted you. So
well, I was like, we're not ready. We're not ready yet.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. I gotta think. This is so much harder with you sitting here because I have to think so much more.
Easier.
I mean, there's definitely pros and cons. Yeah.
A few moments later.
All right, we are back.
Welcome back, Johnny.
Oh gosh, here we are. And so today, Christy here is going to help give us some insight into how players can help their DMs make not just the game, but even just like the preparing and everything like that for the DM easier, less stressful, and stuff like that.
Well, because we know if it was just coming from you and you were telling everybody, it would probably just sound more like complaining.
Exactly. That's why she's here. Because see, I can tell her to say it. I can tell her to say it, and when she says it, it doesn't sound like I'm saying it.
I don't DM. I tried it once. It was okay.
It was actually really good.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
It was hard. It's hard.
I mean, it was just you and me. So
but I understand. Yeah, like they need support.
Yeah.
I only did it once, but it was scary.
Yeah.
And you were the only player I had at the table. So, yeah, I do think it's really important, though, because especially our culture is a little consumeristic, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I think it can be really easy as players to show up and just want to consume. Like, how can you entertain me? I'm here to be entertained and to have fun. But the DM is too. And I can tell you, if you want your DM, like especially if you're doing a campaign and you want your DM to stick around, or even if it's somebody you would love to see do more one-shots, if you show up and you're all about yourself and not helping your DM or being aware of that, either they're going to stop because it's not going to be fun for them, or you might not get an invite back.
I mean, I can say with like actual experience, like that happened to me.
Yeah, he kicked me out of our group once.
Yeah, it's true. I did.
No, he didn't.
No, I didn't.
Because I'm awesome.
I'm too scared.
As you should be.
But no, like there was a period of time where I was running a lot of one-shots, and I still had like a campaign and stuff I was running as well, and it just got to be to the point where I just felt like I was doing it alone. You know what I mean? And so during that time, I actually stopped for a little while. And now granted, thank God that I, got the itch to get right back into it again. And here we are doing videos again, because it was probably about an 8-month gap, I think, or something like that, I took off there. So these are some things that during that time and leading up to that time, I noticed that they would wear on me, and things that she got to see kind of in that front row seat of what I was going through. So these are, just some things that you noticed.
Yeah. No, I do think it's super important, though, to support your DM to decrease that burnout. And if, like I said, if you want them to stay around a lot longer, I think the first one is making sure you're not expecting the DM to be the complete narrator. They shouldn't have to describe everything that you're doing. So be a little bit more creative when you're talking about what you're doing.
Especially in combat.
But even outside of combat, just describing how you're doing something as simply as, like, I'm going to go up to the bar and talk to this person. You can say, I noticed someone at the front of the bar that looks pretty interesting. I think I'm going to try to talk to them. Like, again, making it more narrative, less prescriptive, I think can really help the DM. Like, I think that makes you excited when you see people, because it probably feels like they're engaging more with the story too. Like they're excited to be there. But I think combat is really important too. And
I think it's the easiest way that you can do
it
this.
It is because everybody has a turn, so you get more of an opportunity there. And not only does it help your DM, but it helps the players too. And we'll probably do other videos about how to help your players. But like I said in previous videos, I'm in it for the story. I like the narrative. Combat is fun, but I'm just not that kind of person that's like, all right, I'm going to stab them and 500 million points of damage. Yes. Like, that's just not me. That's not, like, it's fun to hit hard and to roll well.
You gave me an illustration, the Helm's Deep.
Yeah, so I was thinking as, like, player to player, too, being aware of your other players. If everybody is super duper descriptive and you feel like it's kind of getting a little long, you don't have to be as descriptive. But from my experience, people tend to just get in like, oh, yeah, combat. I do this. But I guess the best example I can think of is, again, I see this as a movie, and I think most DMs are pretty creative, and I think they're in it for the story as well, since they create so much. But for example, how much fun would it have been in Lord of the Rings, the Battle of Helm's Deep, if Gandalf had just stepped up and been like, all right, I see all these orcs, and fireball. Everyone's dead. Woo! No, like the descriptiveness, I mean, toss me. Something as simple as that. Like, iconic, right? So really thinking about it from a narrative point of view.
Gimli counting out his kills. Yeah. Like, just little things like that add so much.
Super simple. Yeah. Super simple things that you can do. Just describing sounds, sights, smells. I don't know if your weird taste, I don't know if that comes into combat, but...
I did have a character
you could taste ash in the air. I mean, using all your senses. It doesn't have
I did have a character that would vomit every time he saw blood, so combat got really hard for him.
That is true.
Yeah.
But I think being descriptive in combat, that's probably one of the easiest ways for people to learn, since everybody has a turn.
Well, and yeah, it also takes because as a DM, I want it to be cinematic.
But you have so much to track.
Exactly.
Like, a DM has so much to track during combat that they can get kind of burnt out on having to describe everything.
Yeah, like if I'm having to describe what all the attacks look like while also keeping track of all the different players with the concentration and keeping track of all the monsters, player stats, and blocks, and also still having kind of an idea of what your character's limitations are too, to kind of referee and make sure you're not doing something that is outside the realms of what your character can do. You know, that's just so much to be thinking about. Yeah. And then if it's one of those where the players are all sitting there like, all right, now make it sound pretty. Yeah. It's like, I roll, I hit, I do this much damage, make it sound pretty. Yeah. It's like, no, as a player, I think that's your job.
Helps you be like, honestly, it's helpful for you too, because not only are you practicing being more creative, but it helps you bond to your character, as weird as that may sound, like, or to just deepen your character's backstory and their personality. It just continues to add more and more flavor. I mean, again, think about reading a book. You connect to people and characters who are described really, really well. Yeah. And who describe their thought processes and their actions.
Well, I think if you watch Critical Role at all, a very famous thing that they do is the "How do you want to do this?" at the end, which is really cool. But you know,
if that's all you have,
if it's just the very last blow is the only thing that's descriptive, that's not nearly as good.
No, because that's only one person.
Exactly.
And that's for one combat.
So we try to do that in our combats, like a mini version of that for everyone. But as the DM, if that becomes a standard, that can get exhausting.
Yeah. But also as a DM, like setting that culture of, you know, like in the beginning, you can't expect people to know that. So even just saying like, what does it look like? Yeah. What does it sound like? Yeah. You know, and helping your players get to that. Because if you ask them that every single turn, at some point, they're just going to start doing it. They're not going to wait for you to ask that question too. So DMs, you do have a part to play, I feel like, in creating that culture of descriptiveness during combat and other things. Because if you know your DM's going to ask anyway, you're already, like, before your turn, not only are you going to be thinking about what you're doing next, you're going to be imagining what it's looking like, what it sounds like.
And I think as a DM, if your players, your players do that, you're way more inclined to let them have some liberties. Yeah. So a perfect illustration of what I'm talking about is in our recent combat we had in our campaign that we run together, or that we play in. You finished off an enemy that was flying.
Correct.
Why don't you tell me a little bit what that looked like?
So
from a player.
We knew after I rolled the damage that it was going to be the last hit.
Yeah.
How do you want to do this thing? And I don't know if I knew before I jumped up, but I just asked for flavor. I was like, he's looking pretty bad. Can I just do this for flavor? And he was like 120 feet in the air or something nuts. I was like, I have shadow step and all like the bunny hop things. I was like, can I like shadow step? Because it was pretty dark in there. And just like land on top and like, bah, and then like ride him down to the ground. So I was like, it made me, again, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Made me think of like Legolas, like on the elephant, just like, and then,
Yeah.
that's like my visual. And I asked, don't just say. That's another thing we'll get to. But it was way more fun. And like, I have a deeper connection to that combat. Like in my brain, it's a lot easier to remember what just happened when I made it exciting and I connected to it. And it's fun for the players, the other players too.
Well, and as a DM, when you're sitting there and you're watching your players take ownership
Yeah.
of their characters, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I mean, I could have just said, no, by rules, you can't do that. Throw your dagger instead.
And I could have done that. I still could have come up with something cool.
But it's, it's a how you want to do this. And I think the big part also is your players. So I knew that you knew, hey, this isn't going to work every time. Don't be like, hey, remember that one time you let me do that? I want to do that again right now, but it's not how you want to do this. I just want to be able to do it.
Yeah, like can I try? Like it's just kind of
for
fun.
the sake of the story.
Just for flavor. It's just fun.
Okay, cool.
But kind of along those lines, something else I mentioned was asking permission. I think it drives me nuts sometimes when players are just like, and then I do this. It's like, you don't even know if that's possible. And they like start rolling. And I don't know, I feel like you're a lot more lenient too if you have somebody who is asking like, hey, can I do this? Or I would like to try to do this, instead of just saying, and I'm gonna roll stealth. Like, again, be descriptive, be like, I would like to try to sneak from here to here. Can I do that? And then your DM...
we'll find out. The dice will
as a
let us
player,
know.
you don't get to... As a player, you don't get to determine what you're rolling. It drives me nuts when someone's like, and I'm going to do this, and okay, roll for dexterity. And I'm like, you don't get to decide that. Your DM decides what you're rolling for and when. That's not you. You don't get to take over. And I just feel like that helps out the DM too, because I don't know I feel like it helps you out, but I don't know how to verbalize that. Like, what does that do for you as a DM when someone asks permission?
Well, one, it lets me know that the player wants to do something, because it's possible that what's going on in the world, that's not even a possibility. And as a DM, we don't want to tell our players no. But sometimes they want to do things that they just can't do.
Yeah.
And so when you ask permission, what I can do then is instead of telling you just straight no, I can be like, well, why don't we do this?
Yeah.
And why don't you roll this? And sometimes, and I will be honest, as a DM, I'm, like you said before, I'm way more gracious if a player is asking permission. So it's, like, I want to look for this. How would I look for this? And be like, okay, well, why don't you, and there's a lot of times I'm like, you can roll persuasion or perception or investigation, whichever one you
options.
want. But if it's like, I'm looking for this and my perception check is blank.
Yeah.
Well, one, I'm not going to give you the option of using your investigation in case it happened to be higher. I won't give you that option. And a lot of times, I won't be nearly as lenient on where that DC is.
Yeah.
If it's one of those, like, if you just kind of took over and you did it, well, then I'm sticking to that DC, no matter what.
So if you want more leniency and you want more special favors from your DM, be polite to them too. Like, it's a give and take.
Nobody gets as many
So
special favors
if
as
you want... I would hope not, because that would be real weird. But I feel like it's a give and take. So if you're going to take charge and you're not going to care what your DM says, expect them to do the same. They're not going to give you any leniency. And if you make a mistake, they're like, and you tried that and you're dead. Or there's some kind of catastrophic consequence.
Yeah, if at some point as a player you think that you're running this game, you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah. It's not going to be fun for anybody.
Yeah.
You'll ruin the game for everybody.
Yeah. So just remember that.
Put a damper on it.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. I think there's just so many little ways you can help a DM. And one is, this is something I struggle with. So I'm saying this from a place of guilty. Being prepared. I can get really rushed and especially if we're playing here, I'm like trying to do other stuff up until the moment we're literally sitting down at the table.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what are we doing again?
It's like, which character am I playing again?
What's going on? But I think being prepared is really important. Just taking a few minutes to look over your notes or to sit and try to remember what happened last time. I think it'd be really helpful because then it won't take, we're all adults. We're all sacrificing our time to be together, and we want to get the most that we can out of it. Yeah. So just taking that extra minute to be prepared, I think could be really helpful. Even if it's like, if you're there, even if you're not the note taker, I'm not saying like you have to take every single note. Just ask the person who does take notes, like, hey, remind me what happened last time, so that you can be prepared, you're ready to hop in, and your DM doesn't feel like he's herding cats. Yeah. You've never felt like that.
No. Or at least make sure that there's someone in the group that is the note taker.
Yeah.
That does help. Yeah.
And kind of along the same lines, paying attention. I can struggle with that as well. It can be easy to drift off. No. But at least I feel like I'm not normally disruptive when I'm not paying attention. I'm just like building towers of dice.
Yeah. Sometimes. I'm glad you feel that way.
Anyway.
That's staying in.
Oh, look, I rolled a natural 1. I'd like to move my player here. Okay. Anyway, what are we talking about? Paying attention.
Yep. This is what it looks like, guys. This is what it looks like.
It's easy to get distracted, okay? I struggle with that. But no, I mean, it's just common courtesy. And not like we can all pay attention to be super engaged the entire time, but just be aware of paying attention. Especially in combat. I feel like that's the big one. Just being prepared for your turns. Yeah. It's easier during narrative times to kind of drift off sometimes, especially if like two people are having their moment. Like they're having their moment, or like there's two players who are having a heart-to-heart. It could be kind of hard to pay attention. So at least don't be disruptive, Yeah. That can help your DM out a lot, because
dice towers falling all over the place.
I know. Mine don't fall over. That's why, because they're superior.
Yep.
But your DM is super aware of what's going on, because their goal is to create a really fun time for everybody.
Yeah.
So they do have a sense of responsibility to you. And I know I've tried to tell Dave in the past, sometimes I've had bad nights. Sometimes, I don't know, there's things that just push my buttons or set me off, or I've had a hard week. And I always let him know, like, I had a great time, nothing to do with you. Like, you're wonderful. As always, keep it up. So encouraging your DM. Right? Encourage your DM. I know it sounds silly, but even just like a text afterwards, like, great session, man. That was awesome. Thank you for your time. You know, because DMs spend a lot of time doing this. Some more than others. But
That is true. That is true.
Some of us are just talented at flying by the seat of our pants. So
some of us are more ad-libbers than others.
Just a few. But yeah, they do feel responsible for your happiness and your enjoyment. Like, because why wouldn't they? They're the ones leading it. So just being conscious of that they do have more weight on their shoulders when they show up. They don't just get to show up and play. Yeah. Because I know I can see you feel relieved when you get to come play sometimes too. Yeah. Like, it's more relaxing. You don't have to pay attention to as much. Yeah.
It's so much easier when you're just playing a character.
Yeah.
As opposed to when you're playing the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Other than just the character.
And honestly, probably the absolute best thing you can do for your DM is bring him food and snacks. That always goes a long way.
It's true.
Making them feel appreciated.
That is the number
In all honesty, though, it really does.
It really does.
Like, honestly, people are taking care of you, and like, that's another way to say that I appreciate you.
Yep.
And what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because DMs, you do real VMP.
We do real MVP.
We couldn't do it without you.
It's true.
You could. It would be a hot mess.
No, you couldn't.
Not without
me.
Yeah, not without you.
Well, awesome. Well, I really appreciate Christy coming on for this video, because she said all of the things that it would be weird if I said.
It would sound naggy.
It would sound naggy. So it's, and coming from her, I mean, who wouldn't want to listen to it, right? But so that's what we've got for this one. If you have additional ones that you like to do for your DM that really like breathe life into him or her, let me know. Put it in the comments. And as always, like and subscribe so we can keep this kind of stuff going and grow this channel so we can have more awesome videos with Christy here.
And maybe I can build more cool things.
That's a real hope and dream. We can upgrade. So, yeah. All right. At that point, though, this is Dave and Christy with Full Armor Gaming, and we'll see you guys in the next one.